Good afternoon, Sunday school children. It's been a wonderful day today. So we're in the garden, right here. A little helper, cat, and our beautiful flowers that start to grow. I had a question for you. Have you ever heard adults talk about that they're touched by something? Saying, I was so touched by that piece of music. Or, I was so touched by what that person did for us. Or, I was so touched when I read a letter. Touched when I heard about something in the news. Do you know what that means when someone is touched by something? It usually means that they really love it, that it's dear to them, right? So when we have things close, we touch it. So when you're touched by something, it means that you're sort of moved by it, that you think it's important, that you feel happy or hopeful, right? And I, for example, I sometimes get touched by books we read. And it means that I even can choke up and cry a little bit, which Sam thinks is hilarious when I cry about a book, but it's because I'm touched by it, because I think the book is really beautiful. And so today we're talking also about being touched by things. Jesus was touched by Thomas, right? That was the story that we heard today, that Jesus had returned and showed himself to the disciples, and then Thomas was sort of felt a little bit left out, and Thomas wasn't really sure, and Jesus then came back and said, Thomas, you're also included, and I'm here, and you can touch me. And Thomas touched Jesus to know it was really, really Jesus. And so Jesus, you can say, was touched by Thomas, which means that Jesus also loved Thomas, because that's why he came back and said, come, Thomas, touch me, right? He invited him. And then when Thomas touched Jesus, right? When you touch, you also touch back. And so they touched each other, and so they loved each other. And I think that's a really, really important lesson to take away this time, that when you're touched by someone, right, you're loved. That's what it means. When you open yourself to someone, right, this is all about saying, yes, you can come close to me, you can touch me, I love you. Well, it's really important, partly also because I think we're missing being touched by our friends sometimes. We're missing giving friends and family and grandparents hugs right now, because we're all supposed to stay close to our own family, inside our houses, or only in our yards, or going for a little walk, but we're definitely not going to a friend's house and giving them a big hug, right? And so we miss that. Don't you miss that? I definitely miss it. So I want to read you a story about someone who is also stuck in her house a lot, and to figure out what she did, how she was touched by things around her, and what she did with that feeling. And then we have a craft to do. So, first a book. The book is called Frida Kahlo and her Animalitos. Frida Kahlo, that's actually someone I am touched by her work. She is an amazing painter, and after this you can go online and look up some of the paintings she did. It's really beautiful, and she's quite famous. But before she was quite famous, she was a little kid, just like you. There, can you see? Okay, this is the story of a little girl named Frida, who grew up to be one of the most famous painters of all time. Frida was special, right? Like all kids are special, like you are special. This is also the story of 2 monkeys, a parrot, 3 dogs, 2 turkeys, an eagle, a black cat, and a fawn. They were Frida's pets, and they were special too. That's a lot of pets, right? Frida had a parrot named Bonito. Like her parrot, Frida was colorful. She liked to wear bold shades that celebrated indigenous Mexico and her own heritage. She lived in a house the color of the parrot's bright blue feather, La Casa Azul. You see it? Where she grew up with her mom, dad, and her sisters. Frida had a cat with black, shiny fur, the same color as her long, dark hair. Like a cat, Frida was playful. But as a child, Frida couldn't always play. When Frida was 6, she got very sick. She was in bed for a long time. When little Frida did get sad or bored, she used her breath to make mist on her window, and then she drew a door with her finger. Frida used her big imagination and curious eyes to walk out the door with a magic friend, a little girl who danced and played like a kitten. So her imagination made her feel less lonely. Frida, she's now a bit older, right? Had an eagle named Gertrudis. Like her eagle, Frida's imagination could fly high. When Frida was 18, she was in a terrible accident, and once again, she had to be in bed for many months. This time, Frida didn't create a magic friend. She created art. Frida's mother made her a special easel and hung a mirror over her canopy bed so Frida could paint. Frida used her imagination and curious eyes to do just that. Feet, she said. What do I need you for when I have wings to fly? See? And here at the bottom you see the accident she was in, but here you see her use her imagination. And if those were not enough pets, Frida had 2 turkeys and 3 dogs. Senor Xolotl, Senorita Capulina, and Senora Costa were their names. Frida's turkeys were intelligent and sensitive, just like herself. And like Frida, her dogs were warm and loving. When she was lonely or sad, she could wrap her arms around them and they would comfort her. See? Frida painted when she was sick and hurting. And Frida painted when she was happy. She also painted when she was lonely and she was sad. She used her imagination and painted all the time. That's why she made so many beautiful paintings. Frida painted herself with her monkey, Fulang Chang, playing with the ribbons. She painted herself with Bonito the parrot and Senor Xolotl the dog. She painted her black cat too, peeking over her shoulder. There's our black cat. We have a blue cat here peeking over my shoulder. Frida painted herself with all the friends she loved so much, and even butterflies and caterpillars. Her paintings were magic. And here, that's the real Frida. Right? So you see, Frida was stuck in her house a whole lot, even stuck in her bed because she often was sick in between and she got better, but then sometimes she got sick again. But then she used her imagination, and she used her imagination to paint, and she painted her friends and she painted her feelings, and that made her feel better. So what I want to do today is I want you to use your imagination. And I thought one thing that is so important is to think about how we can be touched by those who love us, and that we love, how we can be reminding ourselves that it's important to be touched by those we love, that it's important to be close and love them, and not just being touched like in terms of hugging, but also just feeling that feeling in your heart that you love them. So, as an imagination, using your imagination like Frida did, I thought we can make little versions of our friends and keep them close. And so what you need for this is the following. You need to go and find some clothespins. Really simple, right? Just stand straight forward. Then some pens and more colors. I guess I have 2 only here. And then maybe a pipe cleaner, maybe some straws, maybe just a piece of paper. That doesn't matter. You can use each of them. So what I want you to do, I'll do it quickly and then I'll show you. Say, you draw a face, and you draw hair, and you can draw a shirt and some legs. Right there you have a person, and that can be your friend. And you can draw it in a way that it's really your friend. And they either can take a little piece of straw or a little piece of paper that you can, with a little bit of glue, put in place, or you can use these. And they have your friend. And you can bring your friend with you wherever you go. I'll show you some. I made some friends. I have my friend here. There's a good friend of mine. And since I don't want to miss her, I put her here. Another friend is here. See? So when I want to bring him, maybe I'll bring him here, the other side. Right? I put my sister along. There's my sister. She can be here. And so you can click, but you can also say, okay, I'm going to bring some others. Some other friends here. There's a friend that Sam made. That's his good friend. So we can remember his good friend, have him close. This is a good friend of Pastor Lyndon. That's a funny one, right? Because he's also a bishop, right? And so we can remember our good friend. Put him here. And Owen made a doggy friend. So we have them here. And then we can bring our friends with us. We can clip them on our clothes. We can put them on our little nightstand. We can clip them anywhere. We can even, if we put them like this, right? They can do tricks and stand upside down. It doesn't matter. So I want us to remember that at one point we'll hug all these friends again. Absolutely. And for now, we can keep them in our hearts. We can feel touched by them. We can carry them along when we feel a little lonely. We can put them on a nice string. It's also really wonderful. You can put one little string and put all your friends on there and remember them. And remember that soon we can be close to them again. So let's close with a prayer. Dear God, thank you for our friends. Thank you for being touched by them, just like Jesus was touched by Thomas. Thank you for that that close feeling that we call love. And help us remember that soon we'll be close to our friends again. And thank you for our imagination that can help bridge this time. Our imagination that can help us be closer to our friends, feel hope and beauty and magic in this world. In your name we pray. Amen. See you next week.